And I understand, I think we can get it done just as fast, and I'll stand down, but I've had too many people say that it's just not the right way to go, so I'll let y'all know.
If you got somebody here to talk,
Yeah, well, he was gonna speak at on a different thing, but yes, he is one of the gentlemen who is not for it, I guess, was for the other, going for a camera instead. And that's all I would say. And if you wanna allow him to talk now, I guess he can talk. Yeah, that's
That's up to council, y'all wanna hear what he's got to say? or-
sure.
And he was gonna be talking anyway, so,
Yeah, sure.
Justin, you wanna go ahead?
I'm just a contractor. I met Todd fixing some stuff he had. And we do manhole, sewer rehab, sewer lines, water maintenance, valve replacements, several different cities. And smoke testing, we haven't done smoke testing. I've been in business 25 years. My dad and grandpa used to do smoke testing. Like, that's the way of the past. You can put a camera in the line. It walks on tracks. You go down, you see every problem you have. It records it, makes a video of it. You have a problem, you turn it 360 degrees, you can see. If your pipe's broke on the bottom, smoke's not gonna rise through it. If the pipe has water in it, so your sewer is gonna be live. The smoke kills out in the water. Smoke test is what they use for houses and bathrooms, 2-inch lines, 4-inch lines. Not on 6-inch lines, 8-inch lines, 12-inch lines.
What's the difference in price?
What did you tell me? that-
Camera costs you basically, roughly, I would say $1.50 a foot. So for 33,000
I don't
dollars,
know
that's
how
quite a
many
bit of
feet we
footage.
have. Do we have, does anybody know how many feet we have? That was my only question. That's what,
I don't think we do know.
again, I don't wanna hold the city up on getting this stuff fixed. I'm not trying to do that by any means. I
So
just-
all you would put the camera in would be the city's lines, it wouldn't be the lines going in the yards where 90% of our problems are, correct?
So you go in the main, and
Okay,
then you can look through the service. When you find a service, you can turn the head of the camera rotates 360 degrees. So you can look up in it. And then you go back to the main. You can't walk it in there. Now you can go, if each house has a clean out on it, you can go from the clean out down to the main. But if not, so you smoke test and the clean out don't have a cover on it that's tight, the smoke's just gonna come right out of it. All it's doing is finding the path of least resistance to come out of the ground. So if the break's here, but that ground's still compacted hard, it's not gonna come out of the ground there, it's gonna come out over here. The least resistance to get the smoke to rise.
Bo, what do you think about it?
Well, my experience in doing smoke testing, which we've done several in the past, we're not doing them anymore, but you're gonna find that 75% of your problems is in the service line from the main to the house. That's where we've always found that 75% or more of the problems have been in the service line of the house drain coming out to the main. And if you go ahead and do the smoke test and find all those and get those fixed, and then if you don't, if that still hasn't corrected the problem, then yeah, I'd say let's do a camera. But until then, you need to find out all of these service lines that are bad and get them fixed.
so
because that's what-
who is fixing those? Who's gonna pay to fix those? Once again, I have that same question.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good question, the city's
Okay.
gonna have to determine.
Yeah.
People are gonna have to do it, or we'll have to bite the butt.
And that-
They-
No, but you
Hey,
can't.
Replace a
they-
trunk line going from the house to the sewer line
Yeah.
isn't cheap.
I'm sure.
I mean, I'm not a plumber, and I'm pretty sure you ain't gonna get somebody here less than $5,000, you know, with a tractor.
It depends on the situation.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I mean, that's, I don't mind either way, I mean, I'm kinda like Todd, whatever the council wants to do, cause we do need to move forward on fixing, on doing something.
Do it.
You know, I
We've been
mean,
talking too long.
but if
I just want-
75% of the problems are on private property, and we have no ground to stand on making them fix it, I don't believe.
But you
but
have
I
a
guess
ground to
Tom-
make them fix it, it's just gonna, you might have to determine who's gonna pay for it. But yes, you got to make them fix it, because your plants is flooding out every time it comes to rain.
How are we planning on attacking this once we start to try to work on this? Are we gonna start with the stuff that's actually in the city line first? And then work from that and try and see if we fix all of the city lines and going into the manholes, if that gets a majority, or if we're still left with a huge issue with going to the houses? Because then, it seems to me that we're gonna have to fight a battle going to the houses one way or the other, because we're gonna have to figure, I mean, you're right, that's gonna be a ton of money, fixing each one of the houses that has an issue. But at some point, we have to get our main line, I feel, under order with the manholes and everything else that we have. And that was one of the things that Justin didn't talk about, that he told me that he has, is he has forms to be able to
Bore
build.
manholes.
To actually,
Bore manholes and rehab manholes.
so you just bypass the cast of the old manholes and you can go with the new manhole for half the amount of what it would be to fix and repair these old manholes, these old cast stone manholes that we have. So it's just, I mean, just other ideas of
So
how
you're
we
saying
can do
just
something.
fixing the top on a manhole? and we
No,
get
no,
like
you
cheaper
bypass,
than
you
put the whole
bypass.
new one?
He bypass and you go with a whole new one. He's got.
Like, if they're, like we epoxy.
Why don't you hold that thought, cause you're on the agenda.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But I do wanna hear what you got to say,
I'm trying
cause
to
it may
invest
be,
in all this.
yeah, it may be very timely, for what we're about to do, but I'm not sure we can answer that question yet, what we do, until we know where the problems are.
Well, I guess, does that not focus us on where we're trying to find problems at, is what we are going to be able to go and fix? If we're looking through everything in somebody's yard and we don't have the money to be able to fix it, what good does it do to look there? And if we have the money to be able to fix what's on the city line stuff, then why don't we go and look at that and fix that and get that repaired and then find out what we're left with after that? I mean, that's one way of cutting this
Well,
pie, and I understand there's other ways. I'm just saying that would
And
be.
that may very well be what we do, once we see what we've got. But, you know, when it rains, as Mr. Bowen said, we're exceeding a permit, and we can't let that go on indefinitely. We got an opportunity to do something about it, so the first thing is find out where the infiltration is, and then we'll take a look at how we're gonna deal with it. But I don't think TCEQ is gonna be very pleased with us if we say we don't.
Do anything.
No,
You
that's
know, we don't do
absolutely
any,
not
we don't even know
Well,
where
we've
the
almost
problems
got
are.
to what, January? So we.
What is
yeah.
it? February, I think.
February.
We have to have it under contract by February,
Yeah,
so
so that's
that's
not
where we
long.
are with it.
I'm okay with whatever, it's just that, I spend the money wisely.
Well, do we have a motion?
I motion we pass this.
We don't pass it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's already been passed.
We pass it, or you make a motion that we do it?
Do it.
Pass it and do it.
Oh, well,
Pass
okay.
being an act.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a second?
I guess I said that, and don't nobody else want to.
Okay. Well, all those in favor, you'll say aye.
Alright,
Any
Aye.
opposed? We have 1 opposed and 4 in favor. So I'm gonna declare it passed or carried, and we'll do the smoke test, see what happens. Number 7, discuss impossible action to approve street repair proposal from Ellis County Precinct 3.
All right. I'm gonna say, before we even talk about this forever, now that we're doing a smoke test, we need to put this off.
Yeah.
We don't even need to talk about it, because if we have to dig a road up, why are we gonna dig up a road we just fixed?
Yeah.
And we still haven't fixed the ditches. That's
You
mine.
all wanna hear what they got to say, and
you go ahead.
we don't have to have a,
I mean, no,
But I
don't
understand
hear-
what you're
I'm just
saying,
saying, why are we gonna spend the money on something that we're fixing to tear up?
well,
I mean,
we're not intending to do that.
You ready for me to talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
You can vote to pass it, you don't have to spend a nickel of it. And you can spend it at any time, but if you don't pass it, I'll have to go back to court again, cause I've got this on the agenda for county court tomorrow, for the commissioner's court. If you approve this resolution, then that money is there, that work is there for you to have done. It doesn't set a timetable or even a requirement that you spend a penny of it. It's just an agreement on our part to do the work for you. In addition to that, Mr. Swisher Sweet over here and our foreman, Brian Penner, drove around today. And as you have the notes, there was a couple of adjustments. One of them, we had 2/10 on border. But then there's another street that makes a curve at the church, but it's 2/10. That's a wash. Grinding up a street, if y'all are doing it, I don't know when, if you do you approved the smoke test, reclaiming a road and pulling the ditches has nothing to do with what you're talking about. As a matter of fact, if you found when you do your smoke test, sooner the better, if they have found something, we're gonna come through and reclaim it. It might be easier to do the work after we've reclaimed it. And then we'll come back and put the road base back down, water it, roll it, and shoot it. I don't wanna talk out of my hat too much. I don't have to do that job, but approving this has nothing to do with when it happens or that anything has to happen. That's that's the commissioner telling you, this is what our costs are to pass on to you for doing street work.
And is it this 100,000 and 400, does that include all this is handwritten
It's a
down
nice
here?
round number. Has nothing to do with what Swish and Brian came up with.
Okay, that's all.
It has to do with everything that's in typing, because what's typed up, the proposal that you have is what's going on the agenda. But I need you guys to approve it,
Yeah,
so we can move forward
but that can be
from the
done.
county side to say, okay, we can start with it.
So as far as the scheduling, we'll work
Or
on
if
that
y'all decide
problem.
you don't wanna do a road, or you don't wanna do it first, you wanna do it, none of that's even relevant to this matter.
You know, and I don't have a problem with that, as long as it comes back to the council to make the decision on what and when we're doing it.
Okay, that's between all of you.
I know,
guys.
but I'm just making it public.
Right.
I just don't want one person, or not being ugly, but Swish says, hey, let's go do this road right here, and we wasn't ready to do that road. That's the only thing I'm saying.
That's what I told them to put a start on the worst roads. So if you wanna just pick
Oh,
those two roads.
I know those two are bad.
I mean, if you wanna pick those two roads, I mean,
And that east cross lane, we can't begin to start that till the gas company gets through ripping it up. Oh, and a second thing, is it second where the culvert is? They looked at it really hard, the gas guy, the good part about the gas guy was he came out and goes, no, that valve is there. It's not a problem for us, we're really concerned about it. And we can move that culvert back a little bit from where the gas line is, and water will still flow, so that's a go. And that was from last year.
on West Avenue and Second
By the-
Street, by the school bus,
yeah.
the bus
That's
terminal.
one that's
When I sent you a
going
picture of
on. Well, I think we need to do it, I mean, have it on the agenda to be done at whenever we decide.
For the county.
Yep. I make a motion that we accept this bid to be done at our discretion and time.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay. Any proposal is approved.
And then we need to give a bid for this at the bottom here. Bruce.
A
We
bid,
need-
Well, one of the church and border is the same as the other border. I think Brian and I came out last week and looked at it.
Well, it's-
15,000.
Gallivanting around.
it's border up there on the, board arc, and when it makes that bend back to the right, it becomes Church
Right.
Street. That's-
So
yeah.
that's the same bid, we just went on the wrong road.
Well, just to say, Church Street, man, it runs awful close to that house, so we got sued over that once.
But I thought,
Ah.
I thought that it was.
Is that the one up by cows?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we need to stay off of that one.
But he done own it.
Well, that's true too, that's true too.
No, I agree, but
We up here, but you never know.
Well, that's when, I think we need to take a closer look at all this stuff
Yeah.
when we get ready to start doing some of the work.
that's probably,
I agree with
that is
that.
the worst road in Milford.
That's the worst road.
The bigger problem's gonna be all the culverts. on people's driveways that are clogged up.
Yeah.
That's gonna be that's why you guys are elected and I'm not. Any more questions for me?
No,
I'm
I
going
think
to walk
that's it.
out.
We
Y'all have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
so
Thank you.
much. You have a good day, night, whatever.
Okay, discuss water and sewer services for Mr. Charles Hutchings. It's 27 acres on Franks Road, 301, that Lucy Dunnigan surveyed, 794A Nick's survey. Mr. Evans, you have this on the agenda, so tell us what we got.
Kim called and said that there's a little piece of that property that actually is in the city and the rest of it's not, or there's a availability to the cities.
So what we found out after researching it, a little bit further, it is not in the city limits and it's not in our water service area. It's not in anyone's water service area. It's not in Falls Valley and it's not in ours. So at this point, it's kind of y'all's decision, on whether we just let them get on our water and sewer, or, yeah, water and sewer, which
Do
they
they wanna
would be
be
responsible.
annexed?
Huh?
Do they wanna be annexed in?
No, he's here, but
I'm here.
I don't believe he
So-
does.
So,
But
how
You
do
want-
y'all gonna get their water? Dale's?
I am not sure, that was a very long time ago.
They have a
So you-
three-quarter line that runs out there that
It's very small, it won't service anyone else.